Hi, beautiful angels. Welcome to another reading with me. I'm Hannah. This is Tarot with Hannah. And today we are going to be looking at the rest of the Saturn in Pisces transit for you. So Saturn has been in Pisces since March of 2023. Saturn transits typically last about 2.5 years, and they are challenging. They are wherever Saturn goes in your chart, whatever house and area of your chart Saturn is transiting, tends to be a period where for a couple years we're really kind of going back to basics, getting out our building blocks, creating a solid foundation. Saturn does not let us take any shortcuts. It challenges us to really get a clear, real picture of that area of our life, and develop really good systems and habits that are going to sustain us for the long haul. But a lot of times that can feel really uncomfortable and challenging and sometimes even painful. So, but ultimately Saturn is doing this for our long-term future payoff, essentially. So it's kind of like a tough love parent sort of energy. And if you want to know specifically astrologically the house and area of life that Saturn has been transiting for you, you can look to the Pisces ruled house of your chart. If you have any questions about that, you can drop your rising sign in the comments below and I can help you out there. But we are going to be looking at more on kind of like a overall personal and spiritual level, how this transit is impacting you. And also I kind of buried the lead a little bit. So Saturn just retrograded back into Pisces on September 1st of 2025. So this is kind of a finishing out of this 2.5 year long cycle. Saturn was in Aries over the summer, June, July, and August, which was a little bit of a sneak peek for what the rest of that transit will look like. But now Saturn has retrograded back into Pisces, and this retrograde period from now, September of 2025 through February of 2026 is kind of like the final chapter, like final boss level of like really mastering this Saturn lesson, really being very responsible and realistic with ourselves in terms of like, okay, what have I learned here? How can I take this and move forward in a stronger position? We're really finishing out this cycle and reflecting and integrating on everything that we've learned. So in the reading today, specifically in each pile, we are going to look at first an energy check that is going to be what is the overall lesson that you have been mastering throughout this whole Saturn cycle. So that should sound familiar to you because it would be something that you've already been feeling and coming up against for the last like 2 years. So that part should sound familiar to you. If it doesn't, I would pick another pile. Or there may just not be a reading here for you today, and that's totally okay. Something I did want to say about that is, never force a reading to fit. Never give your power away to a tarot reading. These are general readings on YouTube. They are not personal readings. So if a message feels like it is not right for you or it doesn't sound like your situation, it's probably just not your reading. And that's totally okay. And if you would like a personal reading with me, you can book that through my website, readingswithhannah.com. But anyway, back to the reading description. So after we look at your current energy, we are then going to look at what challenges you might be coming up against in this last chunk of the Saturn in Pisces transit. And then we're going to look at how you can most effectively work with the energy of those challenges and overcome them. Then we're going to look at what sort of like fruits of labor how you're going to benefit from this cycle, what blessings you're going to receive from putting in the effort during this Saturn cycle. And then we're going to get some channeled messages from your guides at the very end. So it's a jam-packed reading. We have a lot to discuss. I'm super excited about it. I love talking about Saturn. I have a lot of Saturn in my chart, and I have a tattoo of Saturn. So this is one of my favorite topics in astrology, and I think it's super important to talk about it with, compassion and integrity, and I'm just excited. So, okay. Let's get into picking your piles here. So for pile 1, we have the broken Solacite tower, thanks to one of my cats, but it's okay. It still has the same energy. Pile 2 is Stillbite. Okay, and pile 3 is Moonstone. Sorry, don't look at my nails. My nails are gross. I've spent the last couple of days helping a friend move, and so they're a little dirty. Don't look at them. Okay, so those are your pile options. Feel free to pause the video if you need. Take as much time as you need to pick your pile. And there are timestamps in the description below. I will see you over there. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Solacite, the little broken Solacite tower, then this is your reading. We are going to be looking at the final chapter of the Saturn in Pisces transit. When we are looking at your energy check at the beginning, that's going to be more about sort of the lessons that you've been undergoing and what you've been experiencing since March of 2023. So that's how you'll know if this is your reading, if when I'm talking about the energy check, if it sounds like, oh yeah, that is something that I've been going through for the past couple years. That is something that I've been facing challenges in and growing in and stuff like that. That is going to be how you'll know for sure that it's your reading. And then once we get into the tarot, when we look at, what challenges are left to face, how you can work with that energy, what blessings are coming, things like that, that is going to be from when I make this video, which is in September of 2025 through February of 2026. And the reason I'm making this video is because Saturn just moved backwards back into Pisces, and it will be retrograde in Pisces from September 1st through November 27th, 2025. And when it's retrograde, this is kind of like an integration, reflection, kind of inward period. And then it's going to go direct on November 27th, and it will move forward. It'll be move direct through Pisces up through February of 2026, and then it will move back into Aries. All of that said, basically this last chunk of time, this next like 6 or so months where Saturn is in Pisces again, is a period of time where we are finishing out a cycle. And I just saw 222 on the camera timer. And Saturn cycles tend to feel really big and like they really take our attention. Like you might have even noticed a shift in your energy or your attention focus on or around September 1st, if you're watching this when I upload it, because we tend to feel when Saturn moves really strongly. Like as soon as Saturn moves into another house, we immediately feel the energy of that planet, which is, hard work, some fears and resistance, some anxieties, as well as just like challenges that are pushing us to create a strong foundation for ourselves, kind of character building challenges, essentially. all of that is Saturn energy. So yes, so we are mastering a period of growth in the Pisces ruled parts of our chart, but we are going to be looking at the oracles and tarot specifically to see how best to use this energy from now through February 2026. So, okay, I hope all of that made sense. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, but let's get into it. All right, so pile 1, for your current energy, I pre-drew these. We have predictions of growth and cuttlefish and sand dollar. Okay. Right off the bat with these, the first message I'm getting is both of these cards kind of, they talk about like an intense period of growth and transformation, which makes me think of the 8th house in astrology. So you could have 8th house placements. I just saw 444 on the camera timer, which talks about security and safety and stability. So you could have 8th house placements, or it could be that Saturn in Pisces is in your 8th house, which would make you a Leo rising. So that's confirmation for somebody out there, but if that is not the case, that does not mean this is not your reading. But the 8th house talks a lot about, deep personal internal transformation. It also is very much connected to vulnerability and intimacy and transformation within relationships, showing up very authentically within our relationships with others, and being vulnerable to often, like, to a point where you're kind of like burying your soul a little bit, like having to be really honest about what your needs are and how the people in your life can meet those needs, and really allowing yourself to be seen by other people and be cared for by others. So maybe that is a challenge you have been working on. Another piece of that energy is like looking really intently at mental health and like shadow work. So you might have been doing you might have been in kind of a period of doing a lot of shadow work, doing a lot of shedding of old identities, old belief systems, old painful experiences, and doing a lot of healing work around those, and really getting to know yourself on a deeper level, learning more about why you are the way that you are, and what sort of things, going back to maybe even when you were a kid, or just, experiences that you've had in general that have been challenging, and kind of looking at what you can take from those experiences and what needs to be, what you can allow yourself to release, what you don't have to carry with you because it's not yours to carry. I think also like growth is not always the most comfortable of experiences. A lot of times it is deeply uncomfortable and even painful to let go of things that we are really attached to, or people that we are really attached to, and things like that. And I feel like you have just done so much. I just keep hearing the word shedding. Like you're like multiple layers of like, I feel like you're like a completely different version of yourself than you were at the beginning of this cycle which started back in March of 2023. And in keeping with the 8th house stuff, like you might have gotten really into psychology, research generally. Also, I'm seeing like there's not a moon in either of these, but I just keep being drawn to like the crystal ball and the sand dollar, and like that they both are like these light circles. Like maybe you've gotten into astrology, or like following the moon cycles, or like your personal like body cycles, or like the crystal ball is making me think of like tarot and like the occult and magic and things like that. Maybe you've really deepened your spirituality during this time, or developed a spiritual practice, or maybe just the way that maybe your belief systems have altered a lot over this period of time. It feels like deeply, like there's been a deeply personal and introspective kind of transformation over this period. So let's look at the guidebooks here and see if there's anything else to add. Okay, so for predictions of growth, it says, when we encounter change, sometimes it feels like a shock to our system. Look further in this moment, you know that it's time to grow taller, to move forward. Our transformations, although they feel uprooting, ever deepen the roots within our knowledge of ourselves. You are growing and your buds will bloom in the summer light. Okay. And Cuttlefish and Sand Dollar. It says, key points: reclaiming power, overcoming issues. Soft-bodied, nutritious cuttlefish are highly sought after prey, so they can't linger. They learn and move quickly. They know when to stand out, but spend the majority of life staying hidden, and are symbols of intelligence and maneuverability. The sand dollar is a flat creature related to the sea urchin that can and does move quickly, and as such is a symbol of transformation and creativity. You're never without options, even though you may feel stuck and isolated right now. Stop for a few minutes, open your mind, and think of all the possible ways through your current situation. Carefully consider how trapped you really are. Is it just your mind telling yourself you can't change this? Reclaim your power, because you can move mountains if you need to. Okay. Yeah, so maybe over the past couple of years, there have been situations that came into your life that were completely unexpected and totally uprooted your entire life and like how you viewed life and your relationship with yourself. I just saw 1111 on the camera timer, which can talk about self and identity and like how we relate to ourselves, and personal like individuality and things like that. And so it feels like you've had some things come in and like really like shake up your world and like rock the boat in like a unexpected way, and you've had to kind of just like respond to these unexpected events. And you have done it with such strength and such resilience and such grace, and like you have learned a lot about yourself through going through these experiences, even though they've been really challenging. And ultimately you have transmuted that into personal power, or you're in the process of doing that. I feel like what the Saturn cycle is about for you is turning pain into power, and really like you have a really strong ability to transmute negative energy. Like I'm hearing the word alchemy, like you literally change the energy of like the things that you experience and the environments that you're in into something light. And that can be exhausting work to do. It's a lot of it is, unconscious, and can be very tiring because it's hard to see that we're doing that work, but it is happening. You are coming out of this cycle with a power and ferocity and determination that is just like unmatched. Like literally nothing can stop you, nothing can get you down, or at least it can't keep you there. So, okay, pile one, if this sounds like what you have been experiencing, then this is your pile, and let's get into how you can work effectively with the rest of the energy of the Saturn and Pisces transit. So, okay. So first, we are going to look at what is like the main challenge that you're facing with the rest of this transit. What might be the most challenging part of it, because Saturn brings challenges. That is just sort of the Saturn MO. And ultimately, it doesn't bring us anything that we are not able to face and overcome. But when we run from those challenges or hide from them, that is when, Saturn basically just keeps bringing them back around until we deal with them. So that's why this is a really powerful, potent time to really address our fears head on. And that's why I wanted to make this reading, so that we can really make the most of this time and really finish out this cycle. So, okay, what is going to be the most challenging part of the rest of this cycle for pile one? Okay. Wow. Okay. We have Judgment in reverse. So this is, it literally says at the top, unfinished lessons, self-doubt, self-loathing, ignoring and resisting the universe, they have self-doubt twice. Okay. Failure to learn lessons. So you are not going to fail to learn the lesson. That's not what this is saying. But it definitely feels like believing in your ability to close this chapter is one of the hardest parts of this finishing out the cycle, which honestly, I mean, that's not a bad challenge to have, because it's not something that's coming from outside of you. This is an internal energy of, probably because you have faced so much hardship and so much shit in the last couple of years, that, when we face that when we go through a long period of time where things are just kind of a continuous uphill battle, it can really affect our sense of self-worth, our self-esteem, and our outlook and view on the world. So this looks like the biggest challenge is going to be kind of changing that view of yourself to a more empowered one, and believing in your ability to make change in your life. Yeah, it's giving like a little bit of like a pessimistic or like nihilistic worldview, which again, I want to validate that, like, when you're going through a lot of like karmic experiences, difficult experiences, without much reprieve in between, like, that is really, really hard. It's really hard to keep an optimistic attitude. But I think there is a strong message here that you are coming out of this period of having to do all the shadow work, having to really like get in the gutter and sort through all this muck. Like, you are coming out of that, and part of that is going to be a shift in, I think, the way you talk to yourself, and also like your perspective on the world generally, to be a more optimistic and maybe like gratitude focused lens. And that, takes intentional work on our part, right? Like, it's hard to rewrite our mental script and that takes time. So, but okay, so that's going to be the biggest challenge. Let's get into how you can work most effectively with this challenge and overcome it. How can pile one most effectively work with this challenge? Thank you. Oh my gosh, that just like flew right out of the deck. I love the way it landed. Okay, so we have the Seven of Pentacles, long-term investments, sustained patience, perseverance, hard work, success and waiting, harvest, results, profits, planning. Okay, so this is kind of what I was saying, like it's not an overnight change that's going to happen. This is changing our like mentality is something that happens with small, consistent changes over time. So like, you know, doing affirmations in the mirror for a couple minutes every day, doing you know, doing a 5-minute meditation every day, or like a couple times a week, and you know, whatever it was, if you're going from making no effort to make this change to whatever small steps you can, whether it's every day or every couple of days or whatever, to kind of, you know, it could be gratitude journaling, it could be maybe you're getting into therapy, or yeah, kind of like finding a space to work through these feelings of self-doubt and resistance to, what's the word? It's like a refusal to look on the bright side. And I say that with so much love, pile one, because I have so genuinely been there, and it can be really challenging. But they're drawing my attention to a card that is in one of my other decks that says like a simple shift in perspective can change my reality. And we have the Pentacles here, which talks about our physical reality. And sometimes it's like the Seven of Pentacles can be putting in a lot of work over time and feeling like it's taking too long to see the results, like having to have that sustained patience and perseverance. You're like, okay, I'm putting in the hard work, like I've been putting in the work, and yet I'm not seeing a change. Seven of Pentacles promises that you will eventually get that success, see the harvest, like the fruits of your labor. That is promised here, but it does take a little bit more patience. And I'm getting like finding ways to enjoy the process of whatever it is that you're working toward. It's like if you're working toward a goal, say it's like to get a promotion or something, and you're working hard every day, you're putting in the effort, but you won't allow yourself to feel happy until you get the promotion, because your happiness is completely tied up in that external thing happening. And then it's like that time is going to pass anyway. Like say you get the promotion in 6 months or something, that time is going to pass anyway between you now and you eventually getting the promotion. So you might as well try to find ways to enjoy it, because even once you get the promotion, it's like then you'll have your sights set on the next goal and whatever. It's like we have to, the Seven of Pentacles is a lot about presence and yes, thinking future oriented, but also being really grounded in the here and now, and focusing on what is within your control, what you can do, to make today a little bit more fun, a little bit better, because it can't be all work and no play. And also I'm getting that like showing up consistently for yourself in that way, both toward, you know, whatever this goal might be, and toward creating like a balance of like, I also get to have fun, I also get to care for myself, is going to develop more self-trust, which in turn helps with the self-doubt aspect of the Judgment here in reverse. Another piece that I didn't touch on really with the Judgment in reverse is the resisting the universe. So there could be like this is giving me kind of like a stubborn energy, like maybe there's a change that you know that you need to make, or that you know would in the long term be helpful to you, but you're really resisting it because it's like you would really have to make a big shift right now, or it would be uncomfortable or difficult in the short term, even though in the long term it would be better. And they're saying like, if that is the case, think about long-term investments, think about future you and how grateful future you is going to be to present you if you just decide to take the leap and make the change. Because whatever you have going currently isn't really, there's something that's happening right now that isn't really working for you. That could be anything. It could be a habit, a job, a relationship, a friendship, a way of communicating, a belief about yourself. It could be anything, but yeah. Okay, so let's get then what blessings are going to come from this transit, this Saturn and Pisces final chapter. What blessings are you going to reap from this period of time where you've been learning these lessons and putting in this work? Okay, what blessings are coming to my pile ones? What blessings are coming to my pile ones? Thank you. Okay, we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. I love this. So you're going to have more time. You're not going to feel as overwhelmed or like you're overextending yourself. You're going to have, if there is like a choice that you are on the fence about making or afraid to make, you're going to be shown a really clear path. It's not going to be confusing about which way you need to go. But yeah, the Two of Pentacles when it's upright can be like having like a lot going on, like having to work 2 jobs or having to like just manage a lot of responsibilities. So when I see this reversed as a blessing, to me, it means like something is going to be taken off your plate that you don't have to deal with anymore. A responsibility that you now have that is not really yours to keep taking on in the long term, or maybe was never really yours to begin with, is going to be removed from your life. By the end of this transit, you're gonna feel like you have more time for yourself, like you're not burnt out, like you're not like I said, overcommitted or overextended, like your schedule is really balanced. And you're just not having to work so hard. Like, it feels like material resources are a theme here, because I remember earlier I was seeing like the circle here and we have the sand dollar, and we have 2 cards talking about the pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles is this card that is about over a long period of time, sustained effort and persistence. And then we have this as a result, which is like not having to work as hard, but still having the resources that you need. I'm hearing more than what you need. So you're gonna be comfortable financially, and you're gonna have less responsibility on your plate. I'm also getting, if there is like a relationship in your life, romantic or otherwise, that feels like it is like imbalanced. Like the other person is taking more than they're giving, or there's just something that is like, it does not feel like an equal exchange of energy. Either that relationship is going to leave your life, or the balance is going to be achieved. Yeah, especially, this is a really specific message that will not apply to everyone, but especially if someone owes you money, or there's some kind of like payment that is owed to you. I'm getting that as a message as well, that is going to be righted. Maybe you won't have to depend on someone else financially anymore. If there is like a string attached in that way, you're going to be able to have what you need on your own. Okay, yeah, cool. I think that's all the messages I'm getting here. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to get some channeled messages from Spirit and close out your reading. All right. Spirit, any other messages or guidance for my pile ones for the Saturn and Pisces transit, or otherwise? It can be about anything that pile one needs to know right now. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, that came out really fast. We have disruption. Okay, so I am getting strongly that there is some kind of like either eighth house, Scorpio energy, or Pluto energy that is strong for someone here, because this reminds me of the Tower card, which talks about an unexpected toppling of like something that was not working in your life. So I do kind of feel like this already happened, but it could be related to this judgment in reverse, like the resistance to change thing. If something does come in that feels like a totally unexpected shift, the message is to lean into that and just go with the change in the new direction. Yeah, let's see what the guidebook says here for disruption. I always view this card as like a positive Tower card, because it can be kind of alarming in its like hot pink color, but ultimately, oh, I just saw 3333 on the camera timer. But ultimately, whenever it comes out for me in a reading, it is like a positive change. Even if it's initially kind of like, oh God, like that kind of shook me in a way that didn't feel that great, like it's bringing in a change that is positive in the long term. So, okay. Like this shocking pink color, this card demands attention. It represents intensity, innovation, and non-conformity. It's a catalyst for releasing fear in order to make bold and courageous moves. What is stagnant in your life that needs to change? How can you shake things up a bit? How can you continuously innovate your life in unexpected and productive ways? Okay, I love this. Pile one, you definitely have a lot of change that you're experiencing, that you've been experiencing the last couple of years, and that is continuing through this last final chapter. And you're really mastering, I feel, how to deal with unexpected events in life, how to deal with things that are outside of your control and really maintain your inner sense of power, and know that you can trust and rely on yourself to get you through anything that life throws at you. Okay, and then I want to get one affirmation card as well from Spirit. Thank you. Yeah, okay, period, you are. Okay, so it says, I know that my future self will thank me for the hard work. I am doing the work. Didn't I literally say that earlier about your future self thanking you? That is crazy. So you are you're doing exactly what you need to be doing, pile one. Even on the days where it feels really, really hard and you're facing a lot of self-doubt and you're not sure if you're on the right path, you are on the right path. All of this is, and I just saw 555 on the camera timer. I've seen so many numbers during this reading. That does not always happen. 555 talks about change, or it can talk about a change coming from an outside source or an internal change that needs to happen. But you are putting in the work. You are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. This is going to pay off for you, pile one. And this is like, think of this last chunk of the Saturn and Pisces transit as the final stretch of the race. Like, you can see the finish line. You are so close. And it's like, allow this to just embolden you and give you and energize you to make it through that last stretch. And yeah, really just keep doing the work, doing what you've been doing. So, okay, amazing, pile one. I love your energy. It's so like powerful. Okay, and yeah, if you enjoyed the reading, if it resonated for you, I would so appreciate if you would like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let me know how it resonated for you. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that on my website at readingswithhannah.com. You can also find me on Instagram at astrologywithhannah. I am doing $20 mini readings for the month of September. So if you're interested in one of those, you can send me a message on Instagram and we'll get that set up. And thank you so much for being here, for watching the video. I appreciate it more than you know. And sending you guys so much love, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, pile two. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Stillbite stone, she's so gorgeous. Oh my God. If you chose the Stillbite, this is your reading. Welcome. All right. Okay. So we are looking at the rest of the Saturn in Pisces transit for you, and what to kind of expect there, what lessons you've been learning, what challenges might come up in this last leg of this transit, which is September 2025 through February of 2026. But this transit began way back in March of 2023. So you've been going through a period of learning lessons in the Pisces ruled house of your chart, which again, if you want to know more about how that's showing up for you astrologically, you can drop your rising sign in the comments and I will tell you. But we're just kind of looking at generally, spiritually, personally, how is this energy unfolding for you, how to best work with the energy, and also what blessings are coming your way as a result of the hard work that you have put in, because that is what Saturn is all about. Hard work, and then harvesting results that will last for a long time. So amazing. We are going to first start with an energy check that is going to look at what lessons this transit has been teaching you since March of 2023. So this should sound familiar to you. If this is not something that you've been going through and experiencing over the last couple of years, you might want to pick another pile. Or there might just not be a reading here for you today, which totally is okay. And I'll see you in the next one. But hopefully this is your pile and the energy check sounds like what you've been experiencing. So let's get into it. All right. So you actually got 2 cards from the Iris Oracle deck, and then one from the Obsidian Oracle deck. So I just saw 222 on the camera timer, and we were talking about getting 2 cards from this deck. So there could be a partnership that is significant here, or 2s can also talk about balance and having kind of a lot going on, like having a lot of plates spinning in the air. So let's see here. we have the gallery of those who came before, and your dreams are closer than you think. And then we have the barn swallow. All right. So it feels like you have been working toward some kind of personal dream, and it's been a little bit of a windy road, and it's taken a lot of flexibility on your part, a lot of kind of rolling with the changes, going with the flow, moving with the divine twists and turns that have been thrown your way. I'm even being drawn to this little arm here. It almost looks like a road that's like curvy. So it's like, it may not have been, you might be in a totally different place now than March 2023 you could have anticipated. Like, it might have been a very windy road with lots of little side quests, but you are working on achieving some kind of dream here. So we also have with the gallery of those who came before, this card is about taking inspiration from people who we are inspired by, who we admire, but ultimately paving your own path, and focusing more on your specific journey and not comparing to other people's journeys. So there might have been a big lesson around like needing to kind of like focus on your own path, your own lane, and kind of give up comparison to others. That might have been challenging for you. Maybe there was maybe on this dream that you've been working to achieve, like you see other people who have achieved the same thing in less amount of time, or they're maybe you're like, you've seen other people who did the same thing when they were younger, or like they do it, maybe it's not even that, maybe it's just that other people have a different kind of style, and you're kind of like looking over at what they're doing and being like, should I be doing that? Like, what I'm making looks totally different, the way that I'm doing things looks totally different, and you have been working on overcoming that and really owning your own voice and your own unique vision and path. Let's see here. Yeah, with your dreams are closer than you think. This is definitely something that is really, it's really close to your heart. It's very, you're very emotionally led here, and it might have even been kind of an emotional roller coaster path, because whatever you're working toward clearly is very important to you, and it feels like it is something that is emotionally fulfilling for you, but no non-traditional path comes without its challenges. No path comes without its challenges, I guess, but especially when we tend to go an unconventional way, there's unique challenges that are presented with that. But it does feel like you are very close to achieving this dream. It may even be, I'm hearing yes, by the end of this Saturn in Pisces transit, you either will have achieved this dream, or a significant milestone in the path toward this dream will have been met, because the whole point of this kind of last hurrah in Saturn through Pisces is a final chapter where we're really integrating everything that we've learned. So you've really been putting in the work. You've been showing up consistently for this. You've been being very heart-led, and you're going to start really seeing rewards in the 3D, in the material world, by the end of this Saturn in Pisces transit, which is February 2026. So yeah, that's huge. Okay, and then let's talk about the barn swallow here. So I actually want to read from the guidebook on this. I know it's about flexibility and resourcefulness, but I want to see if it says anything else. Okay. Barn swallow, key points: protection, community, adaptability. The barn swallow in Europe is a migratory bird that has forged an unlikely relationship with humanity. These small birds thrive as cities and towns expand, creating nests under eaves and attached to buildings. But rather than being seen as a pest, they rid us of insects and are seen as symbols of good fortune. Oh my God! They represent hearth and home, community, and adaptability. You are a master of doing whatever it takes to get what you need, of working calmly, happily with others, being diplomatic in the face of rudeness, of letting change wash over you and going with the flow when you have to. Let that power, flexibility, and strength fill you now. You may need to work on the fly a bit, but you've done it before and you can do it again. Okay, amazing. So, okay, first of all, symbol of good fortune. So that is coming out with dreams are closer, your dreams are closer than you think, is a confirmation, that's an extra sign that you are well on your way to achieving whatever this dream is, or having some kind of significant milestone in that process. You're going to see something reflected in your reality that is a fruit of your labor. And then I'm also, so it talks about community. There might be like a community aspect that is really important to the work that you do or whatever this goal is. Maybe you end up building upon a community that you've already created, or maybe your community connects you to someone who like offers you a job or like helps you expand what you're working on in some way. It feels like connections to others are really important in either in achieving this dream or in, at the very least, like your well-being on the journey. Yeah. And it talks too about like having to kind of like work on the fly, you know, working calmly, happily with others, letting change wash over you, going with the flow. So again, that kind of like windy road, this might have been a journey that really had a lot of surprises and twists and turns, and you might have at certain points in the journey been like, why do I have to go down this like side road, this like side quest? Like, I don't understand why I have to be taking this new direction. Like, I thought I was already on the path. The message is it's all part of the path. And you're picking up little lessons and, you know, people and events and situations. All of these things are contributing to your personal growth. And I'm hearing it's all like it's like a puzzle, and the picture will be clear at like later on. But right now it's sort of like you're just looking at all these puzzle pieces being like, how do these fit together? But like once everything kind of comes together, then it will be clear like, oh, why I needed to do that extra little, like what felt like an unnecessary side quest actually gave me this skill or actually helped me meet that person. You know, it's all gonna make sense. Okay, cool. Amazing. Pile 2, if this sounds like your energy, what you've been experiencing, then you have found your reading, and we are going to get into the rest of it here. So the first card we're going to look at is what is going to be the biggest challenge for the rest of the Saturn and Pisces transit. And then we will look at after that how you can overcome that challenge, and then we'll look at blessings and guidance from your guides. So, all right, Spirit, what is going to be the biggest challenge for pile 2 during the rest of this transit? Oh my gosh, that was fast. Interesting. Okay. All right. So, okay, this is a pretty clear message. So we have the 6 of Swords and we have the 5 of Cups, and the 6 of Swords came out on top. I just saw 1212 on the camera timer. That might be a significant number for you, or 3 might be a significant, 3 or 6, because that like 1 plus 2 is 3. So that would be 33, and then 33 equals 6. Well, 3 plus 3, you know, numerology, not regular math. But okay, so then we have Oh, and then the Six of Swords here. So yeah, 6 could be a significant number. But we have the Six of Swords and the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups talks about a really difficult, something that was really emotionally disappointing. It says up at the top here, regret, failure, disappointment, grief, pessimism, feeling abandoned or unloved, loss, sadness, mourning, discontent. So there might have been some parts of this journey, and this would make sense with it being a Saturn transit. Saturn doesn't tend to be the easiest energy. It really kind of like makes us get super realistic about a situation and face some tough kind of life lessons that are ultimately there for our growth. But in the moment, it can feel really just disappointing and saddening, and that is kind of what the Five of Cups is about. But with the Five of Cups, so the person here, they're really sad. They're kind of looking down at their 3 cups that have spilled here, but they have these 2 cups behind them that are full and that are beautiful and nourishing and wonderful. And all they really have to do is like turn around, like change their perspective to focus on the 2 of Cups that are upright and away from moving away from this kind of like disappointed energy, which is valid. I mean, it's a valid energy to be sad about things that haven't gone our way or that we didn't go the way we expected. Disappointment is totally okay, but it's just about not staying in that energy for too long. And then we have the Six of Swords, which is literally gorgeous. So this is literally about moving away from a difficult time. It says transitions, leaving behind, moving on to calmer waters, distance, and accepting lessons. So again, this is a big integration period for you the next 6 months. And you are moving away from this more challenging energy into calmer waters, into, I was about to say more stability, and then I saw 444 on the camera timer. Fours are all about stability, security, like comfort. That is amazing. So, but this is coming out in what's going to be most challenging for you. So I think that what's going to be most challenging for you, pile 2, about this, the rest of this transit is really just going to be releasing what has already happened, what has already been disappointing. I'm not getting that you're going to be experiencing any more like significant disappointments. This feels more like the challenge is really letting those go and embracing that the future can be different from what has already happened. And really choosing to focus on looking forward, choosing to focus on the positive, and choosing to, I just heard, strengthen my hope muscle. So this is like something that a friend was telling me, that her mom told her that she, like, hope is a muscle that we strengthen, like you need to strengthen your hope muscle. And that just like stuck with me. I love that. And it's like, especially when we're coming out of periods that were more challenging, it can take time to kind of rebuild that optimism for the future looking different from what we've experienced in the past. And so it feels like this is a process for you, but this is not a bad challenge at all. In fact, the fact that we have the Six of Swords here states that you are moving out of this energy. This is an energy of movement away from something that was difficult into something that feels much calmer, more nourishing, more stable. But you're actively right now in kind of a state of transition with that. So yeah. Okay, cool. So let's look at how you can best work with this challenge energy. How can pile 2 most effectively work with this energy? Okay, we keep getting 2s. I don't know if there's like a partnership or a significant other person involved in whatever this is. Maybe it's just like your partner and they're really supportive. Maybe it's a business partner. I don't know. Could be a best friend or whatever, but we keep getting 2s. Okay, so for how to best work with this energy, we have the Page of Pentacles, And we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Okay. Okay, so it feels like whatever you can do to be grounded in the present is going to be really helpful. So like literally like going outside, like meditating, feet in the grass kinds of stuff, you know, taking care of your body, things like that. They want you to be in your body and out of your head. So the Queen of Swords reverse is like, can be sort of like negative thinking, thought spirals, thinking the worst. And the Page of Pentacles is like this beautiful, stable new beginning. And it says manifestation, grounded, ambitious, gift, financial opportunity, consistent, loyal, faithful. Yeah, like I think this energy is really how to move through this challenge most effectively is really by being grounded in the present and really kind of like fighting those like negative thoughts when they try to come in and say like, you know, why would this be any different now? I haven't achieved my dreams in the past. Well, fuck you, negative thoughts. It's different now because it's the right time now, because I've had all of these experiences and I've persevered anyway. And it's just time. Like, it's just one of the things that I love about astrology, love, hate, I suppose, is that there really is just a time for everything. And it's reflected in our astrology, the movement of the planets. You've been building up this dream. You've been working toward this for likely years at this point. And we are now facing the end of this Saturn in Pisces transit. Saturn is really, toward the end of Saturn transits is when we really start to reap the benefits and understand how much we really have mastered over that period of time. In the beginning of the Saturn transits tend to be the most difficult periods. And the middle is kind of, you know, just showing up and putting in the work consistently, even though you're not really necessarily seeing what you want to see yet. So it just wasn't time yet before pile 2. That I think is the message here. Like that is the message here. Like it just wasn't time before. And so, but now it is. And so just allowing yourself to, whenever you are kind of getting up in your head, to just ground into your body, ground into the earth, get out of your head into your heart space, into your body, and just like don't let the negative thoughts overpower you. It's not going to block anything. What is yours, and that's going to happen, you know, as long as, you know, you are still committed to it and still want it. But it just might make the journey there a little bit more difficult and a little bit less enjoyable, you know, if you're up in your head all the time. So that's really the message here of how to work most effectively with this challenge, which ultimately, yeah, is a lot about mindset, and a lot about embracing that the future can look different from how the past has been. And really also honoring the hard work that you've put in, because you have really, I'm getting like you have shown up on days where, you know, it was like you have not seen anything in your surrounding reality that has reflected back to you how much hard work you've put in, and you just continue to show up anyway, which is, I mean, that's really exactly how goals are achieved. They say like an overnight success takes, what is the saying? It's something like an overnight success takes 10 years or something like that. Like obviously that doesn't have to be your exact timeline, but There's a saying around that like basically the whole concept of like overnight success is like not really real. Sure, maybe that happens every once in a while to people, but most of the time people have been working behind the scenes, trying, and not even behind the scenes, but have been working without recognition for a long time before finally something switches and they get the recognition that they deserved the whole time. But you know, there's certain lessons we have to kind of learn along the way. Okay, cool. So let's now look at what blessings are coming in as a result of your hard work. What blessings are coming in for pile 2 as a result of their hard work? Ooh, beautiful. Okay. So we have the Strength card. I feel like part of what you are achieving by the end of this cycle is just a profound sense of self-love and self-respect. Your relationship with yourself, your trust in yourself is so strong. It's like completely unshakable because you have shown up and you have been committed and shown up for yourself and your dream, you know, every day, even when other people might have told you that you should quit, or you weren't seeing any results outside of you. You know, this is like, it's very powerful energy. It's a Leo energy too, so it does say influence on the card, and this is like a leadership energy. So whether this is like you stepping into, I do think you are stepping into some kind of leadership role, having some kind of influence over a community, over a group of people, and you're very like gentle and compassionate and considerate leader. You're the kind of leader that people want to be in leadership positions because you think about other people. You have compassion. Yeah, this is you like facing your fears and coming out on the other side. And people really seeing you in this like strong, like wise leader energy, as well as like with the Leo, it's like Leos are so creative. They are natural leaders it's kind of leading by example. Like there's Leo energy is so warm and generous, and it like almost like the aura of like Leo placements is just like big, you know, like they just naturally exude this kind of warmth and generosity that just can't help but like spread to the people around them and uplift the people around them. So I see you having like a really positive and far-reaching influence on other people, and also just feeling really fucking good about yourself, being feeling really confident, feeling really good about your body, the way that you the way that you look, which that's a little bit of a side message compared to the other stuff, but I am getting that. Just feeling really confident. As a result of the work that you've done and the dedication that you've shown yourself, I feel like you have built a lot of self-trust, or by the end of this period, you will have built a lot of self-trust. And that is extremely valuable, because when you trust yourself, that you know you're going to be showing up for yourself every single day, it's like nothing can really shake you. You become unfuckwithable. Like nothing can really get you to your core because you know who you are. And that is a profound gift. I do also think there's going to be some material gains here based on the other cards we have, but it feels like you're walking away feeling like the biggest blessing is just being like so confident in yourself and so proud of yourself for facing your fears and showing up every day. Ah. Sorry, my cat knocked over my water bottle. Okay, cool. Let's get some messages from Spirit and we'll close out the reading. All right. Yeah, let's do the Prism Oracle deck here. Okay. Spirit, any other messages for pile 2? Okay. I feel like multiple flipped. Okay, we have rest and we have energy. So, okay, so I feel like there's like a balance here, and we got 2 cards again. So maybe it's not a partnership, maybe it is, but I'm getting that also the 2's meaning of all the double cards is there's a balance that you're trying to achieve here. We have rest and we have energy, literally like red and green. They're like opposites. So there's a like a balance that you're working on achieving or that needs to be achieved in terms of taking care of yourself, your body, prioritizing rest, prioritizing self-care. And I mean like physical self-care, like mental self-care too, obviously, but like make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're like eating good meals, make sure you're moving your body. And then also we have this like energy card where it's like you might like have a lot of energy that you want to put into your work or yeah, whatever this dream is. But there needs to be a balance here, like don't burn yourself out. And maybe you even will go through like spurts of like needing a lot of rest for like a couple of days and then like having a lot of energy for a couple of days. But in general, I think this is a message around like seeking a balance there, making sure not to burn yourself out, making sure that you are just like taking care of yourself, generally speaking. So yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, I also want to get an affirmation card to close it out. Awesome. Okay, we have, I know that every dream in my heart is waiting to bloom. I'm ready to grow. Aww. Pile 2. Your dreams are coming true. And sooner than you think. Sooner than you think. Beautiful. Okay, awesome. I think that's all the messages I have for you guys. If this reading was helpful, if it resonated, I would so appreciate if you would like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe to the channel, share the video. For the month of September, I am doing mini readings, $20 mini readings for eclipses, and I'm doing astrology ones and tarot ones, or you can do a combo of both for $35. But yeah, send me a DM over on Instagram at Astrology with Hannah if you're interested in one of those. You can also book regular readings with me through my website, readingswithhannah.com. And yeah, I think that's everything. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, your week, your eclipse season. Sending you all so much love and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. Thanks so much for being here. If you chose the Moonstone, then this is your pile. We are going to start with a little energy check. So again, this reading is about the final trek of Saturn through Pisces. It has been in Pisces technically it started around like March of 2023. It went into Aries for a couple months over the summer of this year, June, July, and August, and then on September 1st it went back into Pisces, and now it's going to be there finishing out its trek through Pisces until February of 2023. So, hey Hey, do you think you could do that somewhere else? Sorry, my cat chooses now to play with the loudest toy she has. Okay. Hey. Also, pile 3, I had to really hype myself up to do this reading. Like, I was like, okay, pile 3, we're locked in, let's go. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, 1 second. Hey, babe. Okay. I just needed to make sure she wasn't gonna be playing with that bell right next to the mic. Okay, so, I don't know, I was just tired, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna rally. I have one more reading in me before I go to bed. So maybe this last little trek of Saturn through Pisces really feels like, okay, I have one more, I have the energy to rally one more time. Maybe it's been kind of, I just saw 222 on the camera timer. Maybe it has been kind of an uphill battle for you, which is on brand for Saturn transits in general. It tends to be where we encounter delays, frustrations, hard life lessons for about a 2.5-year period. And if you want to know where that hits for you astrologically, you can leave your rising sign in the comments and I will tell you. But it feels like, yeah, maybe this has been kind of a tricky energy for you. And you're kind of okay, I'll give it one more go. So, but let's just see, let's get into the energy check here. So this is going to be, the energy check is going to be what lesson you've been facing, or lessons and challenges you've been facing since that March of 2023 period. So this should sound familiar to you. This should sound like something you've been experiencing already. If it does not sound like something you have already been experiencing, I would check out a different pile. Or there may just not be a reading here for you today, which is also okay. But yeah, let's get into it and see how things resonate. So we have a couple cards here. We have Slimy, we have the Sword, and we have Butterfly and Honeysuckle. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so, okay. Interesting. This is kind of a weird, it's kind of a weird energy, pile 3. So with the Slimy card here, there's you could have kind of dealt with some people who maybe didn't have the best of intentions around you, or didn't have, their energy was kind of difficult to be around. Slimy can also talk about jealousy, and it can be either coming from you or coming from external sources. The Sword is about clarity and protection. And the Ouroboros, it's kind of giving me the World card a little bit. So again, which is that is the World card comes up when we are completing a cycle, when we are coming to the end of a journey, and things are kind of coming full circle. So specific message, this won't be for everyone, but there could have been someone that you had to cut out of your life during this period, who was just really negative, or a toxic kind of energy. I'm getting jealous and passive aggressive, the way that people will be kind of pretending to be like your friend or pretending to be like supporting you, but it's like sort of their intentions underneath that are thinly veiled, like just like jealousy and actually like having an issue with you being successful and you being yourself and stuff. Butterfly and honeysuckle. I actually want to bring out the guidebook for that one, see what that says. So it says, twists and turns following your path. Blue morphos are beautiful blue butterflies with a dull underside. So when they fly, they seem to appear and disappear. They are symbols of freedom, change, and going with the flow. The honeysuckle is a twisting vine with super sweet flowers and has long represented following your own path, come what may. Life is a winding pathway full of beginnings and endings as you search for self-knowledge. But even when you're alone, when you feel lost, know that this is where you're supposed to be, that you're supported by the universe. Embrace your journey, its complexity, emotion, even the trials you face. Understand that you need the lows to fully appreciate the highs. You can't and shouldn't try to control everything. Okay. So, yeah, twists and turns following your path. So, yeah, I am getting a message here that there might have been, again, it could have been multiple people too. Maybe it wasn't just one person that you really had to either set boundaries with or fully cut out of your life. Like with the sword here, I'm seeing like a cord cutting kind of thing. And obviously that, you know, that was probably a really challenging thing to have to do. And, you know, maybe it's left you kind of feeling like you're not really sure what the next direction holds, or like who, maybe you had to kind of like start over in terms of like community and, you know, your circle and stuff, and really kind of, you're kind of like feeling kind of on your own at the moment, feeling like you're having to kind of just navigate things by yourself, which I will say is better than having people around you who are negative and don't have your best interest at heart, because then they're just taking from you. But I've been in this situation before, and it is really challenging. It is really, really difficult to have to like kind of recreate your social circle from the ground up. Or maybe this is like family, it could be anything. Could even be like work situations. It doesn't have to be like, you know, a friend or a partner or things like that. It could be like a job or something here was toxic that you had to cut out. And it's left you kind of feeling like you're following a winding path that you're not really sure where it leads. But the sword here is also about protection. So you are being protected, and this ending was divine protection. What's the saying? Rejection is protection. Like that is definitely the case here. Even though it's painful and it sucks to go through, like ultimately, like this person or situation or these people or situations were not meant to stay in your life. Like they served their purpose, and you are moving forward. So pile 3, if this sounds like something that you've been experiencing, then you have found your reading, and let's get into how you can work with this energy and what blessings you are reaping as a result of your efforts with this transit. So, okay. All right. So first, we're going to look at what is going to be the most challenging part of this final lap of this transit. And then we're going to look at how, excuse me. Then we're going to look at how you can most effectively work with that challenge to overcome it. And then we will look at blessings and then guidance from your spirit team. So, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Spirit, for pile 3, what's going to be the most challenging part of the rest of this Saturn and Pisces transit? What is going to be the most challenging part for them? Okay, we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and I saw the Five of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So, Eight of Pentacles in reverse. It says lack of focus, quality, motivation, or ambition, perfectionism, lack of desired output, lazy, dead-end job, low skills, mediocrity. So, okay, and then with the Five of Wands, that talks about like challenges, conflicts, arguments, obstacles, things like that. So, just gonna bring it in here. So, okay, what's gonna be the most challenging part of the rest of this transit? It could feel like your efforts aren't like producing anything, or super specific message. If you did decide to leave a job, it like the job search might be kind of stressful, like especially if there's like a lot of competition in this particular field. But I'm getting kind of like feeling some self-doubt around your like your workmanship or like your skills and capabilities. So yeah, because when the Eight of Pentacles is upright, it talks about mastery, skill, development, like it talks about expertise. And so it feels like you might be feeling kind of down on yourself in terms of like what you bring to the table in a particular area of life. The Pentacles often talks about work, but it doesn't have to be that. And if not that, then I would say this could be like kind of feeling just sort of generally unmotivated, feeling like kind of lost and adrift a little bit and not really sure, either not sure of the direction or like, even if you are sure of the direction, it's kind of like, you know, sometimes we just don't have the energy. We just feel really unmotivated and kind of like listless, and we have trouble taking action. And that could be because of a conflict outside of yourself, or like a competitive kind of energy, or it could be kind of an inner conflict with like almost like you are at war with yourself, and then you never end up taking action. Okay, so let's look at how you can best overcome this energy and work with it. All right, how can pile 3 best overcome this energy and work with it? Okay, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this card is a lot about kind of a lack mindset and like a scarcity mindset. It says financial loss, poverty, lack mindset, isolation, left in the cold, worry, hardship, adversity, persistence of spiritual poverty. So this coming out in how you can best work with this energy and how you can overcome it. This is speaking a lot to kind of like a mindset shift around your self-worth, and also kind of like a bringing gratitude into things as well, because the traditional depiction of this card is these people who are outside in the cold, and they are outside of a church, and the church is lit up from within. So they could go into the church and go be in the warmth, but either they don't see that the church is open, or they're kind of just so focused in their experience of being out in the cold and their experience of you know, scarcity and lack, which is valid. Like, they have had difficult experiences, they have had real hardship, like those are not, it's not like a figment of their imagination, but they are so kind of consumed by that, they don't see that like another path has opened up, that things can change, that things are not going to stay this way forever. There is actually help available. So that help can come in many forms. I actually want to get another card on that and see. What is the, can you tell me more about this Five of Pentacles? Tell me more about the Five of Pentacles, please. Thank you. Four of Swords. Okay, rest and relaxation, meditation, renewal, solitude, recuperation. Okay. So, okay, so there might be like having some kind of like mindfulness practice might be really helpful to kind of over time shift this perspective to be one of more optimism. And like, I get it, like the world is a shit show. There's so many like terrible things happening like almost at all times. But this is also about kind of like being intentional about looking for the like glimmers and like the good things as well. And really, like, if you need to, pile 3, really kind of like whatever your safe space is, that's kind of what this Four of Swords is about. It's like your sanctuary. So maybe that's a room in your home, maybe that's your bed, maybe that's a coffee shop you really like, maybe that's a park that you enjoy, like whatever feels like a really safe space, a sanctuary to you. That might be a really helpful tool to have in your tool belt at this time. It just feels like there's not really like other people here. This feels like more of an internal journey, which we had, you know, above too, with this kind of being like a solo journey a little bit, because you had to kind of leave something or someone behind. So, you know, this does feel like doing things that reconnect you to yourself, to your soul, to your purpose, to things that make you feel hopeful and optimistic, or even just things that make you feel like grounded and peaceful in that particular moment. For me, that is yoga. For you, that might be something else. But like, whenever I'm doing yoga, I feel like even just for this minute, things are okay. Like, I don't know what it is about yoga. It is so powerful. It just makes me feel like, actually, you know what? Things are gonna be maybe okay. And I might not feel that way after the class, after a little time has gone by, but like in that moment, I'm like, you know what? As long as I have this every day, like, I'm gonna be just fine. Whatever that is for you, lean into that at this time. And also, I just want to tell you, pile 3, like, if you are feeling not super motivated, if you are feeling like you're not like super sure of what the next steps are, or like not wanting to like put in a ton of effort at this time, like, you're not being guided to put in an effort at this time. There's a reason why you feel, you know, lethargic or like lacking motivation, or like you have less energy. It's because you're transmuting a lot of difficult energy from the things that you have experienced and the lessons that you're integrating. And that happens on like a cellular level. Like, the energy is very real. And it's hard because we don't really see that in like the physical sense a lot of times, but like, that doesn't make it less real. Like, you're doing a lot of spiritual work, like when you're asleep, and just when you're like existing, navigating the world. So it's like, it's okay and actually normal and expected if you are feeling kind of low energy right now. It's not going to last forever. That's just this phase that you're in right now. And I don't even want to say that that's going to last like this whole Saturn transit. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. But whenever you're watching this right now, it does feel like this is a little bit of a winter period for you, a little bit of like an inward, reflective, kind of laying low, doing things behind the scenes. And, you know, the wheel will turn eventually, and, you know, things will start to happen again more. But right now, that's not really the focus. And so don't, like, try not to put too much pressure on yourself. There's like a perfectionism too with this 8 of Pentacles card. Like, try not to expect what you would expect of yourself when you're doing really well. Like, you wouldn't expect someone with a broken leg to run a marathon, even if when their leg is not broken, they can run marathons just fine. Like, that's obviously, you wouldn't expect that. And like, you have clearly been through some difficult experiences, and you're healing and transmuting that and working through that. And it just takes time. It just takes time, pile 3. And you don't need to push yourself to be somewhere that you're not ready to be yet. You will get there eventually. This will not last forever. That is a promise, but like, just try not to be too hard on yourself, I think, is the overall message there. Okay, now let's get into what blessings are coming in at the end of, or as a result of, your efforts throughout this Saturn transit. Okay, Spirit, for pile 3, what blessings are coming in for them? Gorgeous. Okay. All right, we have the 10 of Wands and the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay. You are letting go, like fully actually letting go of the emotional burdens of, maybe it's from whatever this situation was, maybe it's other things that you've just been carrying around for a really long time. You are letting go, like fully. And when I say fully letting go, I mean, like, you know, sometimes we say like, oh, like, I'm not gonna let that bother me or whatever, but then it's like we subconsciously still hold on for a long time because we haven't fully processed it yet. You are fully dropping and letting go burdens, responsibilities, exhaustion, things that are truly not yours to carry anymore, or maybe they never were. And you are gonna just feel so much lighter at the end of this transit. Like, you are gonna have really, like, it's giving me like Pluto Scorpio energy a little bit, like where you just really transform on such a deep alchemical level. And then you're able to just, because you've done the work, you've done so much shadow work, you've really put in the time and the effort here, to get to know yourself on a deeper level, to set boundaries, to do right by yourself. And you're gonna be able to really release those burdens. Like, I'm just seeing like the cup here that is it's upside down. Like, I'm just seeing like something just getting like dumped. Like, it is just like, she's got all these sticks here. Imagine if this cup was like gigantic and all these sticks were in that cup and it's just getting dumped. Like, it's just like, no, we're not doing that anymore. None of this, like, also I see you just like not having to engage or not putting up with at all with people who are like like passive aggressive. Like the Knight of Cups is kind of like manipulative when it's reversed or when it's in its shadow, and you're just like, no, I'm not fucking dealing with that. I'm not dealing with those people. Like it's almost like your energy repels them because you're just like, your back is turned to them. Like her back is turned to this moody, manipulative Knight of Cups. It's just like, nope, I'm done with that. Like I'm moving forward. Yeah, and with that comes so much lightness. Like I just felt like, oh, like I could take a big breath. Like it's just like a oh my gosh, a breath of fresh air. Like I just feel so much lighter, like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. Because you don't have these energies or situations that are like dragging you down anymore. Like you've really released so much. And you're gonna feel so much lighter. And I'm hearing there are going to be new people, energies, situations, whatever your situation is, there are going to be new things coming in that feel light and feel aligned to you. But yeah, I'm mostly just seeing you feeling like really relieved that you can finally kind of lay this burden down and just be done with it. You're closing out the cycle. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's get some messages from Spirit to close out the reading. Yeah, okay. Okay, Spirit, channeled messages for pile 3. What do they need to know? What do they need to know? Ah, gorgeous. Gorge. Abundance. Period. Period. Okay, so if you are concerned at all, because we had the 5 of Pentacles, we had the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. If you are at all worried about like your financial situation, you are going to be just fine. That is not, Spirit's got you. That is going to work out completely fine, better than fine. In fact, we have abundance here. That's beautiful. Beyond that, this card also talks about feeling abundance in many forms. So feeling like you have loved ones around you, you have everything that you need and more. It's just like a very grateful energy, and you know, gratitude begets more gratitude, right? So abundance begets more abundance when we're, you know, conscious of it and intentional with it. So yeah, that's beautiful. You have abundance coming. Okay, gorgeous. And then let's also get a little affirmation card for you. Affirmation for pile 3, please. Okay, it says, I know that I must stay in the present moment to enjoy the journey. I am right here. Okay. So, yeah, so really kind of looking at, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself, but really looking at each day as a new gift, and really trying to ground and stay in the present as much as you can, rather than trying to see too far into the future. Just kind of making the best of what you currently have, and looking for the positive little moments in each day. Something that I do sometimes is one of the like little morning single tarot pulls I will do Sometimes I ask just for like the energy of the day, but I find that that's not always that helpful. So I'll ask more specific questions. And one of the questions I like to ask is, how can I make this the best possible day? And so I think that that question, whether you're asking your own tarot cards or not, it might be a good question to kind of just meditate on. I just saw 111 on the camera timer, which also talks about new beginnings, and clarity. And so, yeah, that might just be a good kind of question to think about, ponder, each morning, kind of set the intention for, today is a new day. It's going to be a good day. I am right here. Okay. I love that. I think that's all the messages I have for you, pile 3. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it was helpful. If you did enjoy it, I would so appreciate if you would like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. I am doing $20 mini readings for the month of September, so send me a DM over on Instagram at Astrology with Hannah if you are interested in one of those. We have astrology readings and tarot readings. The astrology ones are themed around the eclipses, but I've also been kind of chatting about Saturn a little bit in each one too, just because that is a big player right now with the September astrology. So yes, you can also book regular readings with me on my website, readingswithhannah.com. And I so appreciate you guys supporting the channel, watching the video. I appreciate you so much, more than you know. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.